"So who the hell is he?" I've asked. She didn't even blink. Didn't look surprised or playing dumb. "Does it matter?" She picked up her wine glass, took a sip, and shrugged like I'd asked her if the chicken was good. "I'm trying to figure out how I wasted 3 years. Humor me." She stabbed her fork into her salad. "Fine. His name's Liam. He's 29. And he doesn't ask stupid questions at dinner. Us. We were at DuPont's. Our usual. Same corner booth where we split our first bottle of red. Same place she told me she loved me for the first time, after the second glass and before dessert. Now she was watching me bleed across the table, like it was a form of art. "Is that why you've been off lately?" I asked. Short answers. Stiff hugs. The midnight showers. She rolled her eyes. "Don't be dramatic. That's rich coming from the woman who just confessed to cheating over risotto." She laughed. Laughed. Not big or loud. Just a breathy little exhale, like I was the one saying something insane. "You asked. You answered like it was nothing." She leaned back in the booth, glass still in hand, and looked right at me. "What do you want me to say, huh? That I regret it? That I was weak? That I hate myself? Yeah, something human would help." She tapped her fingernail against the rim of the glass. "You want raw? Fine. I don't feel guilty. Not even a little." Liam made me feel alive again. He didn't analyze me. He didn't ask questions. He didn't look at me like I was a puzzle with missing pieces. I froze. That last part, it hit different. "Is that what this is about?" I said slowly. "You think I was trying to fix you?" She set the glass down. Didn't answer. I stared at her. This wasn't heartbreak. This wasn't betrayal. It felt like performance. Like she was acting, badly, in a scene she'd already rehearsed in her head. There were no tears. No twitch in her jaw. No crack in her voice. Just a woman who wanted to burn it down. On purpose. I leaned in. "Tell me the truth. Are you actually seeing someone? Or do you just want to watch me walk out?" Her eyes flicked toward the window. "Does it matter?" And that was it. She stood, grabbed her coat, tossed two 20s on the table like we were splitting a check. "Good luck, Tyler." "Alice. Don't. It's done." She walked out before I could say another word. And I sat there, stunned. Empty plate. Half a glass of Merlot. And the weirdest pit in my stomach. Not pain, just confusion. Something wasn't adding up. Not with her. Not with the story. Not with the way she looked at me like I'd already done something wrong. And she was just beating me to the punishment. That's how Alice ended it. Not with tears. With a lie. And at the time, I thought it was just about another man. But I was wrong. It was about what she was afraid I might see if I stayed. And I wasn't even close yet. I went straight to Connor's bar. Didn't think. Didn't speak. Just walked in like a man who forgot how to stand still. Connor looked up from behind the taps, raised an eyebrow. "You look like roadkill. You pouring or narrating?" He slid me a double before I sat down. 3 shots in, I felt it catch up to me. Not the booze, the rage. I wasn't heartbroken. I was humiliated. Publicly dumped like a sad cliche. Lied to. Discarded. The room buzzed. Voices louder. People bumping into each other. That's when some drunk asshole with a neck tattoo and a trucker hat shoved me from behind on his way to the bar. "Watch it," I said. "What?" I turned. Said, "Watch it." He stepped forward. Chest puffed. Beer breath. Threw a half shove that barely moved me. But it was enough. I swung first. Caught him under the eye. He clipped me in the ribs. We tumbled into a stool, knocked over a table. Connor shouted. Someone else grabbed me, but not rough. "That's enough," a voice said behind me. I turned. Civilian clothes. Badge clipped to the belt. "Cop." He cuffed the other guy. Turned to Connor. "You know this one?" "Tyler Miller." "He's fine." "Bad night." The cop looked at me. Looked at Connor. "You owe me a free drink for this." Connor nodded. "Put it on your tab." The cop uncuffed me. "Go home. Now." I left without another word. Walked 2 blocks to a gas station. Bought a bottle of cheap whiskey and a pack of gum I wouldn't remember. Got home. Kicked the door, closed behind me. Tossed my keys somewhere. Didn't care where. Poured a glass. No ice. Sat on the couch and stared at the blank TV screen for 5 minutes before the call started. Or at least, tried to. 3 rings. Voicemail. Tried again. Straight to voicemail. Tried one more time. Blocked. That was it. She'd burned the bridge, salted the ground, and walked off like it was a performance. And here I was, drunk, blood still buzzing, knuckles swelling, trying to call a woman who couldn't even lie properly. I stood up too fast. Head swam. Looked across the room at her bookshelf. One shelf had that framed photo. The one from Maine, her hand on my chest, sunlight in her hair. She loved that photo. I grabbed the frame, held it for a second, then smashed it against the wall. Glass everywhere. Books slipped. A few toppled. One landed open on the floor. Leather-bound. No label. I picked it up. Her handwriting. Neat. Tight. Pages filled top to bottom. Tyler thinks I'm okay this week. I'm not. I'm high again, the buzzing kind. But I can fake calm for another few days. I think. My hands shook. Flipped further. Day 3. No sleep. Wrote 11,000 words. Head's on fire. I'm a genius. Or I'm losing it. Or both. Day 6. Haven't showered. Hate everything. I can't even read. I wish I could disappear without hurting anyone. I sobered up fast. Started yanking books off the shelf, ripping open every journal, folder, anything with her handwriting. Drafts. Scribbles. A rejection letter from a lit magazine. A sticky note. Don't submit. Too manic. Another page with nothing but. He's going to leave when he figures it out. I should ruin it first. Easier that way. And that's when it hit me. She hadn't lied about cheating to hurt me. She lied to escape before the crash. This wasn't about Liam. It was about whatever the hell she was trying to hide, even from herself. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I laid in bed that night. Lights off, whiskey still in my bloodstream. Staring at the ceiling fan as my mind hit rewind on every damn moment I used to write off as just Alice being Alice. That weekend, she deep cleaned the apartment for 10 hours straight. Didn't eat. Didn't speak. Scrubbed the grout with a toothbrush like it was a compulsion. I offered to help. Don't touch anything, she snapped. You'll ruin the rhythm. Then there was the cabin trip. 3 days up north. Day 1. She was on fire. Laughing, flirting, hiking like she'd trained for it. Day 2. She didn't get out of bed. Said the sunlight hurt her skin. Said I was talking too loud even when I whispered. Accused me of staring at her like she was a patient. I'm not a goddamn project, she hissed. I remember thinking maybe she was hormonal, that it was some off-cycle, stress-flavored meltdown. Women go through stuff, right? You give space. You stay patient. But looking back, that wasn't stress. That was the swing. Even her writing, I should have noticed. She'd go days writing like a machine, tapping keys like her fingers were possessed. Then weeks of silence. Whole drafts deleted. She once threw her laptop against the wall because a sentence felt wrong. I'd walk in, see her standing over a pile of printed pages in the trash. You okay? It's garbage, she'd say. I'm garbage. I thought it was just artist stuff. Writer drama. It wasn't. It was the crash. I grabbed the notebook again. Started reading from the back, where her handwriting got messy. Can't focus. Forgot how to eat. Coffee makes me feel like I'm floating, but I hate it. I think I'm going to delete everything I wrote. Maybe Tyler deserves someone who doesn't need a damn babysitter when the lights go out in her head. My phone buzzed. Text from her friend. Jess. We hadn't talked since the breakup. I know it's late, but I need to tell you something. We met the next morning. Neutral spot. Cafe downtown. No makeup, no preamble. She sat down and said it straight. You think she cheated on you, right? She said she did. Jess shook her head. She didn't. I would know. She made him up. Liam's not real. What? She needed you to leave, Tyler. That's what she does when she feels the drop coming. She pushes people out so they don't see the mess. Then she said the words that finally made sense of it all. Alice is bipolar. Diagnosed years ago. She stopped taking her meds when you guys started dating. Said they made her numb. Said you made her feel real again. And then she started slipping. I just stared at her. Felt like the floor under my chair cracked wide open. Why didn't she tell me? Jess gave me a sad little smile. Because people don't love what they don't understand. So she made herself unlovable. She turned herself into a cheater. Because being hated was easier than being seen. And I let her. This isn't the first time, Jess said. We were still at the cafe. Same 2 paper cups of bad coffee between us. I hadn't touched mine. She hadn't blinked since she said the word. Bipolar. She was diagnosed after college. Jess continued. Didn't sleep for 3 days. Thought she cracked some hidden pattern in the way people speak to her. Started texting me full paragraphs about colors and numbers. Jesus, I muttered. She ended up in a psych unit. Voluntary, but barely. I tried to imagine Alice in a hospital gown, twitchy, paranoid, curled up in some sterile bed with soft lighting and locked windows. Couldn't do it. The Alice I knew was sharp, funny, sometimes too intense, but never fragile. She was stable for a while after that, Jess said. Tried meds, therapy, but then she stopped. Said it flattened her. Said it killed her creativity. She's a writer, I said quietly. Jess nodded. Exactly. She got addicted to the highs. That's when she writes. That's when she feels big. Invincible. But the lows. She paused. The lows are bad, Tyler. I mean bad. I rubbed my face with both hands. And remembered one night, around 3 a.m., I woke up and found her dragging the couch across the living room. Bookshelves flipped. Chairs turned backward. She'd rearranged the entire apartment in silence, barefoot, sweating. Said she couldn't sleep, and the space felt wrong. Now it's safe. The next morning, she painted over the mural in her studio, the one she spent weeks on, brushstroke by brushstroke. Didn't explain. Didn't even look at me. She just muttered. It was never real. It made me feel stupid. And left the wall blank. I thought it was drama. Burnout. Maybe some deep, artsy shit I wasn't wired to get. But no, it was disease. She should have told me, I said. Jess looked right through me. She doesn't trust people to stay once they know. I sat back. Let that settle. So the cheating didn't happen, Jess said. And the breakup? Wasn't about you. It was her way of trying to control the fallout. She thought the crash was coming and didn't want you to see it. Or worse, try to fix it. There it was. The whole damn truth in one breath. Alice didn't break us. Her disorder did. And she helped it. Because letting herself be hated was safer than being seen unraveling. Because people leave. And she figured if she made me leave first, at least she could call it a choice. Jess finished her coffee, stood up, looked at me one last time. She's not evil, but she's not safe either. Not until she decides to deal with it. Where is she now? I don't know. She disappears when it gets bad. She walked away, left me at the table with 1,000 puzzle pieces and no picture on the box. I thought about the fake boyfriend, the diary entries, the manic writing, the depressive silence. And the truth? It hurt worse than if she'd actually cheated. Because I still loved her, even knowing it was never real. After Jess walked out of the cafe, I didn't move. I just sat there, hands wrapped around a cup of cold coffee, staring out the window like the answers might start forming in the condensation. Bipolar. Untreated. Lied about cheating so I'd walk first. She wanted to be hated. Because it was safer than being left. That night, I went home and did something stupid. I opened the drawer where she used to keep her stuff, the small things drawer. Hair ties. Chapstick. Stamps she never used. And there it was. The dream catcher. Small. Handwoven. A gift from her father, she once told me. Said it was the only thing he gave her before he died. And then I saw something else. Tucked beneath the dream catcher was a key, small, brass, taped to a business card. Old print. Weathered. Silverwood self-storage. Unit 18C. I'd never seen it before. Never heard her mention it. I flipped the card over. Faint handwriting in the corner. Old stuff. Keep out. I stared at it for a long time. Because if that key opened what I thought it might, I needed to know what she'd been hiding. Not from the world. From me. The next morning, I drove out to the edge of town. Silverwood sat off the road like it had been forgotten. No sign. No pavement. Just gravel and chain link. I parked and walked to the gate. Padlocked. No keypad. But to the left, a small side entrance. Service door. Rusted. Closed, but not secured. Just a latch. I pushed it open. Inside was a row of old units. Metal doors, peeling paint, numbers stenciled by hand. 18C was in the back. I didn't think. Just walked straight to it. Slid the key in. Turned. It clicked. The door rolled open. Loud as hell. Dust. Cobwebs. Cardboard boxes stacked like a makeshift filing system from another century. I stepped inside. First thing I saw, a milk crate full of journals. Hardcovers. Spiral notebooks. All with Alice's handwriting. Then I heard it. Barking. Low. Angry. I turned fast, saw the shape of a dog barreling down the aisle from the gate. Big. Brown. No leash. Behind it, a man's voice shouting, "Hey, who's back there?" No time. I grabbed 3 journals. 2 folders. The dream catcher from my coat pocket fell out and hit the floor. I scooped it, stuffed it in my jacket. Then I ran. Cut through a side row, ducked behind a trash bin, slipped out the same service door, and didn't stop until I was in my car with the engine screaming. Heart pounding. Hands dirty. Journals in the passenger seat. And just like that, I was holding the parts of Alice she never wanted me to see. Not because she didn't love me, but because she was afraid I'd finally understand. And she was right. I didn't wait until I got home. I pulled into a gas station a mile from the storage lot, parked in the far corner under a busted-out light, and opened the first journal in the passenger seat. Hardcover. Fabric spine. Blue ink bled through thin pages. Alice's handwriting, the same I'd seen in her story drafts, on sticky notes by the coffee pot, on the letters she never mailed. Except this time, it wasn't fiction. Day 1. I feel good. Too good. That usually means a crash is coming. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this time, the high is just normal. Day 3. I reorganized the kitchen. Twice. Bought 3 sets of journals. Tyler doesn't notice when I clean at 2 a.m. I like that. But I also want him to wake up and ask what's wrong. I don't know why. Day 5. I kissed him too hard. He asked if I was okay. I lied. I'm never okay. But I love him. So I lie. I flipped faster. Couldn't stop. Each page was a blueprint of a woman trying to outrun herself. He says I light up when I talk about writing. That scares me. Because what happens when I go dark again? He brought me coffee today. I couldn't drink it. The smell made my stomach turn. I told him it was perfect. I don't know how to tell him I'm falling through the floor. It's starting. I feel it. The fog. Like cotton in my brain. I haven't written in 4 days. Everything tastes like ash. I hate that I'll have to ruin this before he sees it happen. I stopped there. Closed the book. Looked out the window and saw my own reflection in the windshield, like a ghost staring back. I used to think I was attentive. Thought I noticed moods. Changes. Shifts. But I'd missed all of it. Because Alice didn't explode. She erased. Quietly. Bit by bit. Until the only thing left was the performance. I opened the next journal. Thicker. Older. Inside were session notes. Real ones. From therapy. Scanned, printed, highlighted. Some underlined in red. Words like cyclothymic behavior. Medication resistant. Patient expresses concern over long-term relational stability. And then this line. Patient has a history of sabotaging close relationships preemptively when sensing emotional exposure. Uses deception or withdrawal to regain control. My hand tightened around the paper. I wasn't blindsided. I was preemptively eliminated. Not because I was cruel, but because I was getting too close to the version of Alice she hated the most, the one that needed help. One more entry caught me. Date. 2 weeks before the breakup. I can feel the crash coming. I'm starting to hate him, and I know it's not real. I want him to leave. If I fake a reason, it'll make sense. Better than begging for space I don't know how to ask for. There it was. Clear as ink. She didn't cheat. She lied about cheating to drive me away before she drove herself into the ground. I sat there in that gas station lot for almost an hour. Just held the journal and thought about all the nights I looked her in the eyes and believed the words coming out of her mouth. And how many of those words weren't hers. They belonged to the swing, to the crash, to the storm she'd been trying to outrun since before I knew her name. But now I had her truth. All of it. I didn't go looking for her. Not at first. But fate's got a dark sense of humor, because 2 weeks after I found the journals, I ran into Alice at the one place she used to say she hated, the farmer's market. She once called it too crowded, too wholesome, too many people smiling for no reason. But there she was, in a loose sweater, hair pulled back, standing in front of a fruit stand and holding a bag of oranges. And she looked fine. Not radiant. Not shattered. Just present. Alive. Whole. Which somehow made me angrier than if she'd been falling apart. She saw me before I could turn. Her eyes froze. Shoulders stiffened. The fake calm flickered across her face, then cracked for just a second. Tyler. Alice. Silence. People moved around us like we were statues in a museum no one wanted to visit. She looked at the ground. Then back up. You look, well, you don't look like someone who just nuked a relationship with a fake affair. She flinched. Just slightly. I wasn't expecting to see you. I wasn't expecting a notebook full of lies either. But here we are. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Then, you read them. Yeah. I read the one where you said you were going to fake something to get me to leave. That part was pretty clear. It wasn't about you. Don't give me that. It was exactly about me. I stepped closer. Not aggressive. Just there. You made me think you were sleeping with someone else instead of telling me you were sick. I'm not sick. Then what are you? She swallowed hard. I'm tired, Tyler. I've been tired since before you met me. The weight of it hung between us. Not anger. Not guilt. Just gravity. She looked past me. I didn't want you to see it. The crash. The mess. You deserve something better than a woman who forgets how to function every third week. You think you protected me? I know I did. No, I said. You protected yourself from being seen, from being helped, from being known. And you turned me into the bad guy to do it. Her eyes welled, but no tears fell. She nodded once. You're right. I waited. For a sorry, or a thank you, or anything real. But nothing came. Just more silence. I didn't come here to fight, I said. I just needed to ask one thing. She braced. Why did you tell me you loved me the night before? Her lips parted. No sound. You said it like it was a promise. And the next day, you burned everything. She looked down at the bag in her hands. Because in that moment, I meant it. And the next, I didn't know who I was anymore. I let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. Then I nodded. That's the thing, Alice. I was never scared of who you were. I was scared of how hard you worked to keep me from finding out. She didn't follow me when I walked away. Didn't call out. Didn't say goodbye. But just before I turned the corner, I heard her whisper, I'm sorry it had to be this way. And I meant it when I said back. Me too. It came in the mail. No return address. No envelope. Just a folded sheet of printer paper inside a plain manila sleeve. My name on the outside. No handwriting. Typed. Just that. Inside? 3 lines. I know what I did to you. I never lied about loving you. But I had to make you hate me before you saw me hate myself. No date. No signature. No plea. It wasn't an apology. It was an autopsy. The emotional equivalent of cutting open the corpse and handing me the cleanest version of the cause of death. I sat with it. On the kitchen floor, back against the fridge, that single sheet of paper shaking in my hand like it weighed more than her goodbye ever did. And it did. Because that was the real Alice. Not the one at dinner. Not the one in the journal. Not the one from the crash. But the woman who knew she was slipping and couldn't bear to be seen sinking. So she pulled me under with her, just far enough to push me away, and surfaced alone. I never replied. Not because I didn't want to. Because I didn't know what version of her would read it. 3 weeks later, I boxed everything. Her photos. Her books. Even the journals. Took them to a storage unit in the next county. Left them there. Not because I was afraid of forgetting. But because I finally accepted that some truths don't belong in your living room. She left me because she thought she had no choice. I let her stay gone because now. I do. People say time heals everything. They're wrong. Time just gives you enough distance to stop bleeding, look down, and realize you're still standing, even if a piece of you didn't make it through. I didn't jump back into dating. Didn't download the apps. Didn't go out with friends who said, you just need a distraction, man. I didn't want a distraction. I wanted to know who the hell I was when I wasn't loving a woman who spent every other week trying not to self-destruct. So I started small. Got back in the gym. Not for abs or status, just to burn the rage off. Got back on drinking. Not because of guilt, but because I finally realized how many nights I'd used it to keep from thinking. I even picked up writing again. Nothing fancy. Just a Google Doc I called What I Missed. Each entry was a moment I had overlooked. Each one was a red flag I painted gray. Each paragraph was a confession, not hers. Mine. She said she was tired, and I said she needed more coffee. She deleted every draft she'd written, and I called it perfectionism. She looked at me like I was a stranger, and I kissed her anyway. That doc hurt. But it helped more. Because I finally stopped asking why she lied. And started asking why I accepted it. I boxed up the last of her stuff, the little things. The dream catcher. The book she never finished. The hoodie she left in the dryer, still smelling like that citrus and clove perfume. Taped it shut. Wrote one word on the lid. Done. Then I took it to the storage unit. not to forget her, but to stop letting her live rent-free in the middle of my recovery. A month later, I walked into a bookstore downtown, same one she used to do readings in. She wasn't there, but one of her old stories was, in a lit mag on the corner shelf. I opened it, recognized the voice immediately. It was manic, messy, beautiful, and full of lines I'd once heard whispered against my skin. I smiled, closed the book, and left it there, not because I was angry, but because I didn't need to carry her story anymore. I had my own now. I never hated her. That's the part people have trouble with when they hear the story. But she lied to you. She made you think she cheated. She manipulated your feelings. Yes. Yes to all of it. And still, I don't hate her, because hatred would mean she still owns part of me. And Alice doesn't get to live in my chest anymore. She forfeited that the moment she decided her fear was more honest than my love. I kept the journals. Not to reread. I haven't opened them since that night at the gas station. I kept them to remind myself that pain is real, but it doesn't have to become identity. Just like someone else's sickness isn't my failure to treat. She's still out there, somewhere, writing, maybe crashing. Maybe someone else is kissing her forehead between swings, thinking love will level her out. I hope they're stronger than I was. But more than that, I hope she's stronger than she used to be. As for me, I'm fine. No dramatic new chapter. No fairy tale rebound. Just peace. I sleep. I eat. I work. I don't spin when the phone rings. I don't hear her name and feel my lungs collapse. I just breathe. Sometimes I still see her face when I drive past certain places. A bookstore. A diner. That one bridge we used to park under and watch the river breathe in moonlight. But I don't linger. I let the memory pass, the way you let smoke pass through an open window. No clinging. No chasing. No trying to bottle it. Alice lied to me, but not because she didn't care. She lied to survive herself. And in the process, she taught me exactly who I don't want to be. Someone who runs when they're scared of being loved. The truth? It doesn't always come in time to save the relationship. But sometimes, it shows up just soon enough to save you.